My partner Luke McCreary was already on the lot. He was a veteran paramedic certified in ALS, advanced life support. That meant he could distribute medication and provide injections. He was allowed to perform airway and minor heart procedures, even emergency invasive measures if need be. He walked toward my Honda, 2 cups of undoubtedly coffee in his hands. By the time I got out my car, he handed me a cup and asked if I knew what was going on with the weather. I told him what I heard on the radio. We climbed in our rig, and he took the wheel. He said he was worried. What for? I asked. He started her up and said, "You know how a full moon makes people go crazy?" I nodded. And he continued, "What do you think nighttime during the day is gonna do to him?" Not only was that food for thought, but I started to believe he was downright psychic. 5 minutes after leaving the scene of a morning domestic dispute, the next call came in. An overdose before breakfast. Luke administered the Narcan. We got the woman in the ambulance, and then shipped her off to St. Lucia. By lunchtime, he attended to one emergency after another. We partnered with police for a stabbing incident near the shops on Main Street. I handled the victim's bleeding. Luke kept an eye on his vitals. We often switched places on easier tasks. Luke's way of training my paramedic skills. Meanwhile, officers nabbed the perp near the loading docks in an alley on Walnut. Dude was too big to climb the chain link fence, so he cut a hole at the bottom. After officers placed him in the rear of the squad car, they shared his story with us. The suspect claimed aliens were here to get us. He saw them in the clouds this morning. His mission was to kill them all before they got to us. The stabbing victim was only the first one he came across. Man, oh man, we all had a chuckle. While Looney Tunes banged his head against the window, police told us one final thing. The assailants stated more extraterrestrials were on the way. There were nests in the town store basements. We progressed throughout the morning. What struck me odd was the pace at which dispatch calls flooded our radio. The city felt restless, like something was building beneath the surface. Luke had been right. He had felt it way before I did. We were finally having our lunch break in the rig when Luke gave me some news that caught me completely off guard. He was resigning. Not immediately, but soon. He and his wife Joanne was expecting their first child in 6 weeks. He couldn't keep sacrificing family time. Joanne needed him now more than ever. Honestly, I understood. Luke was one of the best partners I'd ever had. But this profession takes a toll. The long shifts, overtime, working holidays, the constant stress. If you weren't careful, you could find yourself hitting up AA meetings, prerequisite for keeping your job. I told him I was going to miss working with him, and I meant it. We had been through a lot together. We had a bond only police and firefighters could relate to. It was difficult to explain to anyone outside these professions. Then, dispatch interrupted our conversation. We disposed of our sandwich wrappers, got strapped in our seats, and were on the road again. One call and a patient drop-off at St. Lucia, and then off to fetch another. The hours disappeared in a blur of sirens and flashing lights cut in the darkening afternoon. By 6 o'clock, Luke and I were done for. Beat. We were counting the minutes until we could head home. But Wouldn't you know it, that's when the last call came in, and it changed our whole world.